Hare Krishna, I welcome all to Everyday Chant Harinam conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Prema Rāsa Dāsa Prabhu from India to enlighten us on Guru Tattva, understanding Guru Tattva based on Bhagavatam 4.25.52. Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Please take over the call, Prabhuji.
Okay, actually I forgot to connect my webcam. So just give me 1 more minute. I will be back.
Sure. I'm just reading a quote until then, Prabhu means. Your japa beats or your ticket back to Godhead, Srila Prabhupada. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy names, japa, Bhagavad Gita 10.25. In the Vishnu Rahasya, Lord Brahma speaks to Narada at the end of dialogue on Masopavasar. A well-to-do householder Vaishnava cannot live like a person in the renounced order who completely takes shelter of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Such a householder should chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in the morning, at midday, and in the evening. Then he will be able to cross beyond nations. Pure devotees in the renounced order, however, should fully surrender to the lotus feet of Krishna and should constantly chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra with great love and faith, always thinking of Krishna's lotus feet. They should have no occupation other than chanting and remembering the Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Hare Krishna, are we ready now?
Yes, Prabhu, please.
Let's go to verse number 428, 52. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
Prabhu.
All right. So, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 28 chapter, 52 verse. Brahmana uvacha, kvatam kasyasi ko vayam shayano yasya sochasi janasi kim sakhayam mam yenagre vichartatha. Synonyms. Brahmana uvacha, the learned Brahmana said, ka, who, tvam, you, kasya, whose, asi, are you, ka, who, va, or, I am this man, shayana, lying down, yasya, for whom, sochasi, you are lamenting, janasi kim, do you know, sakhayam, friend, mam, me, with whom, agre, formally, vichachartha, you consulted, ha, certainly. Translation. The Brahmana inquired as follows, who are you? Whose wife or daughter are you? Who is the man lying here? It appears you are lamenting for this dead body. Don't you recognize me? I am your eternal friend. You may remember that many times in the past you have consulted me. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. When a person's relative dies, renunciation is automatically visible. Consultation with the super soul seated within everyone's heart is possible only when one is completely free from the contamination of material attachment. One who is sincere and pure gets an opportunity to consult with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his Paramatma feature. Externally as the instructor and the initiator, spiritual master. The Lord can reside within the heart. and he can also come out before a person and give him instructions. Thus, the spiritual master is not different from the super soul sitting within the heart. An uncontaminated soul or living entity can get a chance to meet the Paramatma face to face, just as one gets a chance to consult with the Paramatma within his heart. One also gets a chance to see him actually situated before him. Then one can take instructions from the super soul directly. This is the duty of the pure devotee, to see the bona fide spiritual master and consult with the super soul within the heart. When the Brahmana asked the woman who the man lying on the floor was, she answered that he was her spiritual master and that she was perplexed about what to do in his absence. At such a time, the super soul immediately appears, provided the devotee is purified in heart by following the directions of the spiritual master. A sincere devotee who follows the instructions of the spiritual master certainly gets direct instructions from his heart from the super soul. Thus, a sincere devotee is always helped directly or indirectly by the spiritual master and the super soul. This is confirmed in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhakti Lata Beej. If the devotee serves his spiritual master sincerely, Krishna automatically becomes pleased. Yasya Prasada Bhagavad Prasada. By satisfying the spiritual master, one automatically satisfies Krishna. Thus, the devotee becomes enriched by both the spiritual master and Krishna. The super soul is eternally the friend of the living entity and always remains with him. The super soul has always been ready to help the living entity, even before the creation of this material world. It is therefore stated here, Yenagre Vicha Chartha. The word agre means before the creation. Thus, the super soul has been accompanying the living entity since before the creation. Om Agyanti Binandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Katadara Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so I have chosen this verse because it is connected to the topic of Guru Tattva. So, based on the discussion with Rupini Padma Mataji last time, I thought that maybe we could take some special classes, some special topics, instead of just going through the Bhagavatam verses. I just suggested Mataji that we can have some special topics also, because I think to understand the Tattva of Krishna consciousness is very important. Chaitanya Charitamrita also it is stated that Ras Tattva, Prem Tattva, and all different types of Tattvas, they have to be understood very thoroughly. So once you understand the Tattvas, the science behind Krishna consciousness, then you will be able to appreciate even more and more why certain things are happening. Like, for example, the ultimate goal of our sadhana is that we make maximum advancement in spiritual life. And Prabhupada said that 99% of the advancement comes from chanting the holy names. But this 99% of the advancement will only come when we chant purely. As long as we are chanting offensively, with offenses, and even at the stage of Namavas, we will not be able to get prema. So we can only achieve prema when we chant the name purely. So what does pure chanting mean? Pure chanting means the chanting has to be accompanied with knowledge, the right knowledge, the tattva behind Krishna consciousness. So that has to be understood. Once that is understood, then our chanting will be very effective, and we will make quick advancement in our spiritual path. So there are to understand the tattva behind Krishna's leelas, how Krishna performs his activities in the material world and why he does it like that. So these things has to be cleared, because many devotees, they are not aware of this science. And similarly, we have the Harinam Tattva also. And then we have Shiv Tattva. So different tattvas are there, which we need to understand. So ultimately, our goal is that once the foundation is clear, then we can also focus on Harinam Tattva. So what I'm seeing is that I think you are going through the 6th canto now, the pastimes of Ajam. I think the story of Ajamil, and especially it is actually considered to be the heart of Srimad Bhagavatam, because the holy name is actually discussed in that particular topic, in that particular canto. That's why it is the heart of Srimad Bhagavatam. It is the heart of Krishna, basically. And what is the heart of Krishna? The heart of Krishna is holy name. That's why sixth canto is considered to be the heart of the Lord. In order to understand that, we will also be discussing about Harinam Tattva later on. And I will also summarize and brief you about why Ajamil, how Ajamil actually attained liberation and how he attained Prema also. And so our Acharyas, they have given elaborate commentary on that. So we will be discussing that also. But before that, maybe we can just discuss and clear misconceptions about Guru Tattva, because I feel that many devotees, they are not understood properly what is, who is a Guru. And generally the tendency is that we see more Guru as our Diksha Guru, right? So these are certain things which devotees, they should thoroughly understand these principles, because unless and until we deal with the Vaishnavas properly, we'll not be able to chant the holy name purely, and unknowingly offenses will be there. So which gives a holistic view of the understanding of Guru Tattva in one sense. As Prabhupada writes in the purport also, that the goal of the spiritual master is actually to connect you with the super soul, right? So what exactly is Guru Tattva? Let's discuss now. Okay, so the first and foremost role of a Guru is to provide education to the disciple, to the pupil. And along with education, the Guru is actually destroying the doubts and ignorance which is there covered in the heart of the disciple. So by transcendental knowledge, the Guru bestows transcendental knowledge, and by that transcendental knowledge, there is destruction of ignorance as well as the tendency to commit sinful activities. So that's why we have the word Diksha. Now, Diksha is actually a combination of two words, Di and Shaya. So these Divya Gyan, the transcendental bestowing of Divya Gyan, and Shaya means the destruction of sins. So that's why we have heard in ISKCON, and Prabhupada also says many times, that whenever the spiritual master gives initiation to the disciple, so at that point of time, all the past karmic reactions, they are absolved. The Guru is taking upon himself all the reactions to the karmas of his disciple. So this is what we have heard. But how the destruction of karma will take place is through the bestowal of transcendental knowledge, Divya Gyan. And so basically it means that along with chanting the holy name, along with following sadhana and the limbs of bhakti, we also follow certain do's and don'ts. And we vow and we commit ourselves not to, or we abstain from sinful activities. So then we are aware of what are sinful activities and what are desire, the root cause of sinful activities, which is avidya. That is destroyed by vidya, because the root cause of suffering is basically avidya, and suffering is actually, the immediate cause, you can say that it is because of our karmas. Now karma is because of desires, and desire is coming because of avidya, because lack of knowledge basically. So that lack of knowledge is replaced by the right knowledge, right kind of knowledge. With avidya is replaced by vidya. So when we hear from the Guru, when we hear from the scriptures, then we become aware of what are sinful activities and what are not sinful activities, and what are the activities which are favorable for bhakti. So then gradually we start replacing all these sinful tendencies with the desire to serve the Lord purely. Okay, so gradually anartha nivritti happens, and then we come to the stage of nishtha. So the Guru will bestow transcendental knowledge to the disciple, and that is the most important objective of any Guru. The role of a Guru is to actually basically provide siksha, to provide education. If the Guru is not providing education, then there is no point of connecting with the Guru, because the role of Guru is only to establish connection with the super soul, as Prabhupada states in the Bhagavatam. And then I will also provide a lot of evidences from Prabhupada's letters, his purports, that actually Guru is it's a Tattva. It is not a person as such. So any person who represents that Tattva can actually become Guru. So we'll discuss that later. But in general, the meaning of Guru is someone who bestows transcendental knowledge, and whoever bestows transcendental knowledge is a Guru. So it's vice versa. And another meaning of Guru is also explained as if you take 100 people on one side of the scale and you measure against your Guru on another side of the scale, then Guru will always weight heavier than all other 100 people combined, which means that whenever Guru will instruct you something, because he knows the science of Krishna consciousness, he understands, he's realized, so his opinion will be ultimate opinion compared to opinion given by 10 different people. Okay, their opinion may not weight so much because they have not realized, they are not experienced with the transcendental subject matter. Because the Guru is realized, so his opinion is the heaviest, which means that his opinion has to be given the utmost priority. So that's why Guru also means heavy with knowledge. Now there are two things in order to understand what is important. Now there are many devotees who may get attached to a Guru. So if that natural inclination is coming and we get attached to the Guru, that is very good thing. But some devotees, they also take Diksha because of some kind of formality. Like for example, because their parents are initiated by a particular Guru, so naturally they follow that process. Or by some circumstances, they have to take initiation from a particular Guru. So it is basically, what I'm trying to say is that they have not thought about their own attachment and inclination towards the Guru, but because of some factors, they have already taken Diksha. So there are two things that we have to consider. One is the Swarup Lakshan and one is the Tathastha Lakshan. So Swarup Lakshan means the primary characteristics and the secondary characteristic. So Tathastha means secondary. So primary is that it is very important to be obedient to the Guru. So even if you are attached or not attached to the Guru, it is very important. That's a principle behind Guru Tattva. So unless also. So we know for sure that we have to follow the instructions of the Guru. Unless we don't follow the instruction of Guru, we cannot make any advancement. So Swarup Lakshan is that in spite of being attached or not attached to the Guru, we have to follow the instructions, which means obedience. That is Swarup Lakshan. And the Tathastha Lakshan, which is the marginal characteristic, it is basically attachment to the Guru, inclination towards the Guru, attraction towards the Guru. So by being obedient to the Guru, by following his instruction over a period of time, we also develop attachment towards the Guru. That's why it is the Tathastha Lakshan. Tathastha Lakshan means basically it's a marginal characteristic. So it is not the primary principle. Okay. And by following the intentions of Guru, we will also develop attachment towards the Guru. Now, different Gurus, they have different ways to, different ways how they will actually deal with the disciples. So there are certain principles that remain the same, irrespective of whoever is the Guru. For example, any Guru in ISKCON, they are supposed to be representative of Srila Prabhupada, and they are supposed to present the teachings of Srila Prabhupada. And that means 16 rounds minimum chanting cannot be compromised in any circumstance, and 4 regular principles also cannot be compromised. So this is the minimum standard that Srila Prabhupada has set in our movement without any compromise. So these things, these are principles. These things cannot be altered unless and until there is a great Acharya who will come down and he may alter certain things. But till then, we have to follow Srila Prabhupada's instruction, and we cannot alter these things. So principles can never be altered. It will always remain the same. But details, it will be subjective. Okay, so subjective means that different gurus, they are different personalities, they are different individuals, and depending on their you cannot expect the same kind of treatment that you will receive from each and every guru, because everyone is individual. So because of that individuality, every guru will treat their disciple in a different way. Okay. Yeah, so these are certain things which should be clear. Any questions till now about this? What we can do is we can take questions before we move ahead, so that section wise we can go ahead and we can take questions. So if you have any questions till now, you can let me know. Okay. Okay, no questions or what? Okay, now see, it is very interesting to note that all the Shastric references that in general refer to a guru, like for example, Shvetavastra Upanishad 6.23, Yasya deve parabhakti yatha deve tatha guru, Tasyate kathi artha prakashante mahatmana. Then Chandogya Upanishad 6.14.2, then Srimad Bhagavatam 11.22.10, Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.32, Mundak Upanishad 1.2.12, Mundak Upanishad 3.2.3, Katha Upanishad 2.23, Tad Vignarartham Sagurum Eva Bigachet. So all these different statements from Upanishads, Srimad Bhagavatam and scriptures, they all generally refer to the Siksha Guru. It is not stated that the statement does not indicate or talk about Diksha Guru, because first thing that we need to understand the difference between Diksha and Siksha Guru. It is very interesting because generally Siksha Guru is taken to be lightly in So what is the difference? So we know that Diksha Guru is someone who actually bestows Diksha mantras, and Siksha Guru is the one who actually provides transcendental knowledge. See, one thing I already have shared with you, that whenever we talk about Guru, the role of a Guru is basically to bestow transcendental knowledge. Now, the meaning that the Diksha Guru bestows Diksha mantras, it also means that he will also provide you the knowledge. Because if you receive the mantras, but if you don't know what is the meaning of this mantra and what is the goal of that mantra, then obviously there is no point of receiving the mantra. So that's why the scriptures state that the Diksha Guru's role is to provide Sambandh Gyan. So it's not necessary the Diksha Guru may provide Abhiday Gyan. So the entire Vedic scriptures, according to our acharyas, they say that it is basically divided into three parts: Sambandh, Abhiday, Prayojan. And it establishes the Sambandh. It also talks about the Abhiday to achieve the goal, and then the goal is there, which is the Prayojan. So Sambandh Gyan, which means that your knowledge with the Lord has to be established first, right? So Sambandh Gyan in context to the Diksha Guru giving transcendental Divya, this Diksha mantras, is basically he will also provide knowledge that, for example, this is a Gopal mantra, and Gopal mantra means that you are performing certain sadhana and certain Abhiday you will be performing that will direct you to Gopal, the Gopal of Vrindavan. Okay, all these details he will be providing you, because it is rarely possible that the mantra itself will actually reveal things to you, that the Guru will actually bestow knowledge to you, and that's how you'll know the meaning of the mantra. So what is the meaning of the mantra? Why the Guru has given you this mantra, and your connection with your deity also. So generally in the Gopal mantra, we have Krishna as the deity. He is actually the objective. He is the main goal, right? We are not looking to go to Vaikuntha. We are looking to go towards Krishna, and that too in Vrindavan, not in Mathura and Dwarka also, right? So these things are specified in the mantra. Which particular Krishna we are worshipping and what is the destination. So because according to our acharyas, whatever sadhana that we perform in this life, accordingly we'll get the result in the as the goal. So there is sadhana and there is sadhya. So whatever sadhana you perform, whatever is your desire, whatever is your intention, that you will achieve in your sadhya, in your final goal, right? So if you worship Krishna in Vrindavan, you'll go to Krishna in Vrindavan. If you worship Krishna in Mathura and Dwarka, you'll go to Krishna in Mathura and Dwarka. If you worship Lord Ramchandra, you'll go to Ayodhya in the spiritual world. So depending on the devotee's conception and their desire to establish relationship with the Lord, accordingly they will go to that particular abode in the spiritual world. Now the question is that, okay, so Diksha Guru's role is to bestow Sambandh Gyan. See, that's why only Sambandh Gyan is required, because Abhiday will be performed by the Shiksha Guru. How to attain that goal? That is actually the role of the Shiksha Guru. But Diksha Guru can also take the role of Shiksha Guru. In fact, Prabhupada also states that whenever a devotee starts taking instructions and is inspired by a particular devotee, so then if he's taking regular instructions from a devotee, that devotee naturally becomes his Diksha Guru, provided the devotee is also giving Diksha. Direct connection with the Guru all the time. And maybe in some cases, we are not even getting some of the instructions from the Guru. So we are mostly connected to the disciples of the Guru. So they are guiding us, they are training us in bhakti. So these can be termed as Shiksha Gurus. Now, Shiksha Guru is also a broad category. Technically, it means that whoever is guiding you for a longer period of time with some responsibility can be called as Shiksha Guru. Because Shiksha Guru, see, one thing we have to understand, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is clearly stated by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami that there is no distinction, no discrimination between Shiksha and Diksha Guru. They are equal manifestations of the Supreme Lord. So if you discriminate, then you will fall down. Right? Now, obviously, there are certain etiquettes also. How to respect one's Shiksha Guru, how to respect one's Diksha Guru, how to respect, because you have multiple Shiksha Guru, we can have multiple Shiksha Guru. So how to respect different categories of Shiksha Gurus. So that also we'll discuss in detail later, maybe in the part 2 of this class. But Shiksha Guru provides knowledge which will help you to attain that goal. Okay, so along with Sambandh Gyan is provided, generally it is assumed that the Sambandh Gyan will be provided by the Diksha Guru, but Abhiday will be provided by the Shiksha Guru. Okay, now in both cases, knowledge, bestowal of knowledge remains common. This is the foundation of any Guru, whether it is Vartama Pradaksha Guru or Diksha or the Shiksha Guru. So Vartama Pradaksha Guru is the one who actually connects you first with bhakti. Because by devotees mercy, only devotees can, a person can become a devotee. So if someone is connecting you to bhakti for the first time, that person, that devotee becomes your Vartama Pradaksha Guru. And then later on, he may continue to serve as devotees who will inspire you in your bhakti. So you generally, the principle is that you get inspired by a particular devotee and then you take Diksha from that devotee if he is giving Diksha. And also depends on whether that devotee is giving you time or not, because we don't get personal time with the Guru. The Guru has many disciples. So that's another thing. But one thing we have to always remember that the role of Shiksha Guru is extremely important. We cannot minimize the position of Shiksha Guru. The Diksha Guru, in fact, I will tell you one thing, very interesting thing, that in earlier days, in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time, there were many devotees, Mahaprabhu's associates, who got Harinam from someone else, and they took Diksha mantras from someone else. So this is very important to understand. In ISKCON, now we have a system that we are going to take Harinam and Diksha mantras from one Guru. But actually, Shastrically, it is not like that. If you see, Harinam is something which is already given to us by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because Hare Krishna Mahamantra is it's a Vedic mantra. It appears in the Upanishad, Kalisantra Upanishad. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he was the one who wanted to propagate Harinam Sankirtan, so he distributed it very freely to us. That's why we see that it's not necessary that we have heard the Harinam from our Diksha Guru for the first time. We have heard Harinam from Srila Prabhupada's books also, from devotees also, because they do Kirtan, openly they do Kirtan, and we hear the Hare Krishna Mahamantra from them. And then we also hear from Srila Prabhupada's books, right? There are different sources by which we hear Harinam. So it is not that the Diksha Guru is giving you Harinam. So first initiation is not the bestowal of Harinam. It is actually at the time of first initiation, the Guru is empowering our chanting. Okay, this is something important to understand. Harinam we have already received from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. he says, he mentions a very important point. He says that in Kali Yuga, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is, the Kali Yuga Dharma is Nam Sankirtan, right? And then we know that in previous Yugas, Satyug, Trita, Dwapar, we had different methods and practices in order to attain the Lord. So in Satyuga, we had meditation, austerity meditation, and then we had Yajna in Trita Yuga, and Dwapar Yuga, we have deity worship. But in Kali Yuga, we have chanting of the holy names. It is not that chanting of holy names was not present in earlier Yugas. No, Nam is always eternally there. It is always present. Just like we have temple worship in Kali Yuga, we have Yajna also. There are so many devotees who are doing Yajna also. So all these processes, they are present in all the Yugas. But the way to realize the Lord is recommended in a particular way. So in Satyuga, we had the process of austerity and meditation. So the question is that if Harinam is superior to all these processes and it is also so simple, then why in earlier Yugas people did not chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra? So Jiva Goswami explains, he says that because the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is a Yugal mantra, it's a direct approach to Radha and Krishna. So people in previous Yugas, they were very much afraid to commit offenses because the reaction of offenses were very severe. So they were very afraid not to chant Hare Krishna mantra, not to chant the holy name. And for them, maybe it was much easier to perform austerity and meditation. But because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has instructed in Kali Yuga to chant the holy name. So what he did, he took upon the reactions of all these offenses upon himself. So it does not mean that we are free of offenses to the holy name. In spite of committing sinful activities or in spite of committing offenses to Vaishnavas, we are free from. No. What it means is that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taken the major reaction to the offenses to the holy name. Okay, upon himself. This is what Jiva Goswami explains in this Tattva Sandarbha, I think, or maybe some other Sandarbha. But yeah, this is the principle. So Harinam is already bestowed to us. And as I told you earlier, that Diksha Mantra is actually required for us to worship the deities. That's the only purpose of Diksha Mantra. Okay, so we have the Panchratrik Diksha Mantras in our ISKCON line, and it is also coupled with the Vedic Gayatri Mantra. Okay, but generally we have the Guru Mantra, the Gaur Mantra, and the Krishna Mantra. We get 7 mantras in our second initiation. And Nam is already bestowed to us right from the beginning. The day the first time we hear the Nam from someone. So the Harinam is already bestowed to us, and Nam specially requires proper knowledge. So without knowledge, you cannot chant purely, because Nam is also connected to offenses to the holy name. In order to overcome the offenses to the holy name, we have to understand first what is offense, what is not an offense, what are the etiquettes, and what are the offenses to the holy name, and how to counteract those offenses, and how to avoid those offenses. So unless and until we know these things, we cannot make any advancement just by chanting the holy names of the Lord. Okay, and all other processes, whether it is deity worship, whether it is Sangha, Sadhu Sangha association, or it is living in the Dham, they all help us to clear all these offenses to the holy name. Because in Kali Yuga, chanting is actually foremost. It is in the forefront, and Seva is in the background. Whereas in the spiritual world, it is the reverse. Seva is in the forefront and chanting is in the background. So in order to chant purely, and in order to reach a stage where we constantly chant the holy names, we have to avoid offenses. And the entire concept of, the entire need for Guru and all other processes, all other limbs of bhakti, they serve this purpose, somehow that we get rid of offenses to the holy name. In their services to the deity. So the schedule becomes very regulated, and we become very careful, we become cautious, we become cautious while dealing with the Vaishnavas also, because there are 64 aparats to the deity seva, to the Vigraha seva, whereas there are 10 offenses to the holy name. So these things are all very important to understand. So in earlier Yugas, during the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the associates of Mahaprabhu were given Harinam by some other devotee and Diksha by some other devotee. So what we need to understand is that Siksha Guru is the one who provides that knowledge, and he can also bestow Harinam to someone. So like, for example, when you preach to some non-devotee or someone for the first time, then you also share with them the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and then you also provide some knowledge along with the Maha Mantra, right? You explain to them what is the mantra, what is the meaning of this mantra, and why are we supposed to worship Radha and Krishna, right? You explain many details about it. So this is called bestowing of Siksha along with the Harinam. So Harinam, Nam and Siksha, it goes parallel. So if you have Harinam and if you have Siksha, then there is no requirement of Diksha. Diksha is the only purpose of Diksha is to basically get Diksha mantras so that you can worship deity. But if you are not worshipping deity, then there is no question of getting Diksha mantras. And because we can go back to Godhead just by chanting the holy name. Okay. Now, even if you take Diksha mantras and if you worship the deities, if you commit offenses to the holy name or to the deity, then the effects of that will be covered. So it will not give any effect to us. And especially Harinam, Harinam, Harinam eva kevalam kalo nasti eva nasti eva nasti gatir anyata. In Kali Yuga, there is no other way. There is no other way. There is no other way. Chant the holy name. We have to chant it purely. We have to chant without offenses. Plus, Jiva Goswami also mentions that in Kali Yuga, especially because the holy name is so powerful, it is recommended that all the other limbs of bhakti should be assisted by holy name. So whether you are worshipping deities, whether you are preaching, or whether you are doing any kind of service, you should always try to chant as much as possible. In the background, we should try to chant as much as possible. So that will purify. That's why even in our deity worship also, we first have the Mangala prayers, right? Prayers to the Guru, and then we chant Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, and then Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, right? Why? Because Srila Prabhupada also stated that before chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, in order to get rid of the offenses, we have to take shelter of the Panch Tattva. And that's why we take shelter of Panch Tattva, we chant their holy names. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. So after the ritual, because this is deity worship is basically ritual, right? It is Panchratrik Marg. So it is mainly consists of rules and regulations, and it is kind of ritual also. So there may be a lot of mistakes in performing the rituals, because in Kali Yuga our mind is always distracted. But by chanting the holy name, everything becomes perfect. That's why after whatever ritual we are doing, we chant the Panchtattva mantra, and then ultimately we end with Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, so that whatever impurities, whatever lacking is there in the process, whatever faults are there, they are all destroyed by the power of the holy name. Okay, so it will cover up for everything that we miss out in the process. So this is something that we have to understand. Siksha Guru is the one who will bestow Harinam, and Nam and Siksha are connected to each other. Siksha Gurus, because okay, let's try to first understand why do we have only one Diksha Guru. So see, basically the concept is that the Guru, when he is bestowing you the Diksha mantra, he is connecting you with a particular deity, and it is assumed that your relationship with that deity is going to be eternal. You are not going to change your relationship. You are not going to change your rasa. Like for example, if I am worshipping Krishna, then tomorrow all of a sudden I feel that I want to worship Vishnu. Then what will happen is you have to change the sampradaya, and then we have to get Diksha mantras from that Vishnu sampradaya, because their objective is Vishnu. So they will give you mantras like Om Namo Narayana, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, like that, right? But because our goal is Krishna, and the Guru, the Diksha Guru is connecting, it's providing establishing the sambandh between you and the Lord. That's why the Diksha Guru is one. But then we have multiple Siksha Guru system, because Siksha Gurus, they can guide you in different areas. So like for example, if some devotee will train you in Vaishnava etiquettes, but he may not be thoroughly acquainted with the knowledge of scriptures, technical knowledge of scriptures. So another devotee will train you in scriptures. Like for example, in during the time of Jiva Goswami, so Hriday Chaitanya, then Gopal Bhatt Goswami, and Loknath Goswami, they all send their disciples to Jiva Goswami so that they can thoroughly understand the scriptures from Jiva Goswami, because Jiva Goswami was the greatest scholar, and he was accepted by all the acharyas to be the main founder acharya of the sampradaya after the disappearance of Rupa and Sanatan Goswamis. So then they sent their disciples to Jiva Goswami for training and all, understand Shastra. So we have devotees in different areas who can guide you. Okay, we cannot expect that one single person will train us in everything, right? Like, because they are not God. So it is not possible. So one particular devotee may have certain quality, certain area of interest, certain focus of area, and another will have different one. And depending on your need and requirement. Now, the main role of a guru is to make sure that the disciple does not remain confused in spiritual life, that the doubts of the disciples are all destroyed. So the role of Diksha and Siksha Guru is not to confuse you, because you may wonder that my Diksha Guru is saying something and my Siksha Guru is saying something contrary, and Shastra is saying that they are equal representatives of the Lord. So how do I understand which Guru to follow? Right? All these questions will be there in the mind. The role of a guru is not to confuse the disciple, but to destroy confusion for the disciple, to make things easier for the disciple, and to connect you with the super soul. So see, this is actually the main principle of a guru. The role of a guru is not that how much he's favoring you externally. It is the main role of the guru is that a disciple should advance sufficiently in spiritual life so that he becomes independent of me. Right? So the guru will think like that, because the guru will feel that I am just the representative of the Lord. I am not the controller. They are not my disciples. They are not my servants. They are the servants of the Lord. So the guru always thinks that I am humble servant of my guru and parampara, and my service is to connect my disciples with the Lord, so that their bhakti will increase for the Lord. They will quickly go through the stages, like all 9 stages, and they will attain the goal. So Saddha, Sadhu, Sang, Bhajana, Kriya, Anartha, Nivritti, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhav, Prem. So the role of guru is to train the disciple in such a way that they will keep advancing in their spiritual life. Their faith will keep increasing with time. That is actually the most important role of a guru. And in order to achieve that, he will bestow knowledge depending on his experience and his realized stature. Okay. So this is the role of guru. Whether it is Siksha Guru, Diksha Guru, Vartama Pradaksha Guru, or any devotee also. Like, in fact, our acharyas, they also mentioned that any Vaishnava, they can act like guru. It is not necessary that guru is only limited to Diksha and Siksha Guru. Any Vaishnava within our sampradaya or outside also. In fact, what to speak of Vaishnavas, non-Vaishnavas can also teach us something. We can also learn from them. And we can, it's like, obviously, they won't be our guru because they do not set an example. They do not follow, they have not accepted a parampara, and they are not Vaishnavas. So we don't consider them as guru, but the guru can make them a channel or make them an instrument to teach us something. So we have to be open-minded. We have to, everyone and everything can actually teach us something. That's why in the Bhagavatam also we have the story of the Avanti Brahmana, who had 24 gurus as such. Now these 24 gurus also included the animals, right? But obviously, they are not gurus as such, but because each and everything and every person, they taught him something. So that's why he considered them as guru for some time being. It does not mean that we have to follow them, because they are, they have not set a standard and example. So like that. But ultimately, we have to understand that it's a principle, it's a Tattva, and that Tattva is represented by Lord Balram. So it is Lord Balram who is actually empowering different devotees to take the role of a guru. Okay, and ultimately, the role of a guru is to connect us with the Paramatma within the heart, because he thinks that a guru has to be detached. He cannot be the controller, and he cannot expect servants for him. He has to, that intention, that motivation has to be there in a guru. So there are different categories of guru also. We'll discuss about that later. But there is the liberated guru and there is the non-liberated guru, and how they are functioning, how they are supposed to act. That also we'll discuss in later in the second part of this class. But to suffice, this is the most important principle. In fact, Srila Prabhupada also stated that the Vrajvasis, they don't even need a guru, because they are naturally, they are very much advanced in their Krishna consciousness. And Krishna also acts as their guru. Okay. Sometimes Prabhupada also said that Govardhan is their guru. So the Vrajvasis, because of their exalted nature, they get, you can say that, they get inspired from the Paramatma, or they are directed by the Lord directly. Okay. Yeah. So this is very important. Any questions till now?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Madanat Pranam, all good Prabhupada Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for explaining so nicely, about the Guru Tattva, and happy that you remembered. And, sometimes, we feel that like in our life, we have so many Shiksha Gurus, right? So Shiksha Gurus are playing more role than our, Diksha Guru. That kind of a thought comes. And we get connected to our Diksha Guru only through the means that when we hear their classes, or we hear something about them, or where they are, like that. So there's not much, kind of a direct interaction. So is that also okay?
Well, actually, the process is Siksha. I mean, if you see our line also in ISKCON, it's a Siksha Sampradaya. We don't call it a Diksha Sampradaya, right? I mean, what is the connection between? Okay, let's start with Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada's guru is Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, right? So they have a Diksha connection also, but then Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur's guru is Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, and even they have a Diksha connection. Then Gaur Kishore Das Babaji's guru is considered to be Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Does he have a Diksha connection? No, it is Siksha connection. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is not the guru of Diksha guru of Gaur Kishore Das Babaji. It was, I think, Bhagavad Das Babaji who was the Diksha guru of Gaur Kishore Das Babaji. And then consider Bhaktivinoda Thakur's relation to his guru, which is Jagannath Das Babaji. Do they have a relation of Diksha? No, they have a relation of Shiksha, because Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Diksha guru was Bipin Bihari Goswami. So Jagannath Das Babaji was the instructing spiritual master, right? And now then after Jagannath Das Babaji, we directly go to Baldev Vidyabhushan. Now, was there a connection between Baldev Vidyabhushan and Jagannath Das Babaji? No, not at all. In fact, Baldev Vidyabhushan was present much earlier. I don't think Jagannath Das Babaji was, that time he was even there existing. So, and then we see after Baldev Vidyabhushan comes Srila Vishwanath Thakur, right? And then after Vishwanath Thakur comes Narottam Das Thakur. This is how we trace our parampara. Now, Vishwanath Thakur and Narottam Das Thakur, I don't think they were physically there that time. So Narottam Das Thakur appeared much earlier, and later on Vishwanath Thakur appeared. So there was a connection between Vishwanath Thakur and Baldev Vidyabhushan, but not with Narottam Das Thakur. So, why are we tracing out this line? Because Vishwanath Thakur's guru was, I think, Radharaman Chakravarti. So we are not considering him in the parampara, and we are not considering certain Diksha gurus in the parampara. So basically, our line is Siksha line, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu emphasized Harinam in Kali Yuga. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted Nam Sankirtan to be the most prominent limb of Bhakti, and that all devotees should actually take shelter of Nam. Okay, so Nam basically is connected with Siksha. So Siksha is actually the most important element. That's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Kalyan Kalpataru, he states that for me, I don't consider so much the Diksha Guru to be so important, but I feel that my Siksha Gurus are taking much important responsibility and role for me. So they are more important for me, because they are bestowing Abhidaya Gyan. Now Abhidaya is actually the most important. Sambandh Gyan is just a connection between the Lord and the devotee. But then how to attain the Lord? That requires elaborate bestowal of knowledge. So whoever is giving Abhidaya, whoever is training you in Bhakti, they are supposed to be your Siksha Gurus. And now obviously, depending on the time that they are giving to you, depending on the responsibility that they are taking from guiding you and training you, you will reciprocate with them that much. So those devotees who are taking responsibility of a lifetime to train and guide you in Krishna consciousness, they are as good as your Diksha Gurus. You have to treat them equally. So they are technically Shiksha Gurus, because Shiksha Guru is a very heavy term also. It is not so like, because we cannot make it cheap. Shiksha Guru is not someone who is helping you and okay, he's like a monitor. He's coming and he's just monitoring and then he's going away. And then you don't do anything about that devotee. So if a devotee is helping you for the lifelong period, then that devotee also becomes very prominent and important, irrespective of the stature of the advancement of the devotee. So Diksha Gurus, if they are sannyasis, they are supposed to be, they are assumed to be advanced in their Krishna consciousness. And Diksha Gurus are more subjective, right? So they may be Grihasthas also, and we may discriminate. But we have to remember one thing, that we should not discriminate. And that respect has to be given to them, proper respect. The degree of respect will definitely vary according to the advancement stature of the devotee. But in general, Shiksha Guru role is equally important. We should not minimize the position of Shiksha Guru. So there are different gradations of Shiksha Gurus. So there may be some prominent devotees who are helping you for a longer period of time. And there, then there, see, another thing is that it's not necessary that even a Shiksha Guru has to be physical. Like, for example, you may read a book of a particular devotee and he may state something in the book, or he may clarify your doubts like no other devotee helped you before or clarified before. So then you may also try to connect with that particular devotee in the long run. So it may not necessarily be connection in terms of physical guidance, but it may be possible by their works, by their teachings. So you may establish a relation of Shiksha disciple with them because you are inspired by their works, by their teachings, and maximum doubts has been destroyed by their teachings. So through their books, through their lectures, you can always establish a connection with them. So it is not even necessary that Shiksha Guru may give you physical personal time. They also may be distant. But what is important is their Vani has affected you in such a way that you want to establish a long-term relationship with them. Okay. So these are technically, ideally they are the Shiksha Gurus. When we talk about Shiksha Guru, and especially in the context of being equated with the Diksha Guru, then these are the devotees who are actually the ones who are very prominent, and they should be given equal treatment, as identical representative of the Supreme Lord. So like that. So there may be different devotees. Like, for example, you may attend Bhakti Shastri course, and that is generally for a duration of 2 years. And after that, maybe there is no connection between you and your teacher. So they are also Shiksha Gurus. They should be respected accordingly. But according to the amount of knowledge, amount of time, amount of training they are investing in you, or you want to get training from them for a particular period, to that degree, we have to offer them that kind of respect and worship.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It's been very, very encouraging answer. Very nice. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Very well. Yeah. So, I would also like to point out that in the earlier days, when there is a concept of Upanayanam ceremony, you must be aware that if someone would like to study the Vedas, then whether it is a Brahmana, Vaishya, or the Kshatriya, they have to take Upanayanam, and they have to be, you require some kind of qualification, and that qualification is also bestowed by the father in the family. All right, especially in the Brahmana family, the father is the one who actually also provides that qualification to the son. So technically, once we they will also provide Diksha mantras, and that means, so Vedic Diksha, it's a Vedic Diksha. So then it also means that the father becomes a Diksha Guru. So we have to understand the position of the role of Diksha Guru and the Shiksha Guru. Ideally speaking, Shiksha Gurus are actually more important than the Diksha Guru, if the Diksha Guru is not giving Shiksha. Okay. Now, we may take Shiksha from a Diksha Guru. It may be on an absolute platform. Like, for example, as you were sharing about that, we hear classes from the Diksha Guru. But then classes are okay. The general things we can hear from them. But when it comes to clarifying things, destroying misconception, doubts, ignorance, then we take help of a Shiksha Guru. So that is also equally important role. So this we have to understand. Okay, any other question or comment? Okay, so let me share some references from Prabhupada's letters and some purpose also. I feel this is very important. Okay. So this is a letter to Tamal Krishna Maharaj, August 7, 1977. No, sorry, I'm sorry. This is a letter from Tamal Krishna Maharaj to Satswarup Maharaj. And he mentions that Srila Prabhupada explained the difference between first and second initiation as follows. Why do you believe in rumors that first initiation is not so important as second? I've already said that it is equally important. But you say rumor. Actually, first initiation is more important. You can go without second initiation. If the first initiation is executed very thoroughly, that is sufficient. First initiation stands strong. The spiritual master accepts the disciples' sinful reactions upon giving first initiation. The Vedic system was to give sacred thread at the first initiation. We are following Panchratrik. Vedic initiation was given to a person born to a Brahmana. That is not possible in this age. Therefore, he has to be prepared by Harinam initiation and then second initiation. He is given a chance. Therefore, other protest that I am giving initiation. He is not born of Brahmana. How can he be initiated? Okay. So I also wanted to shed some light on why ISKCON has this two system of initiation instead of one. So originally there was only one initiation, and technically it was the Diksha, which means basically the bestowal of transcendental Diksha mantras and knowledge, Sambandh Gyan. So that is actually real initiation. So second initiation in another, now I will also share another letter where Prabhupada says that second initiation is the real initiation, not the first one. So we have to understand here, Prabhupada is saying first initiation is more important than second initiation. But then let's try to understand what is exactly first and second initiation. So as I said earlier, that in order to read the Vedas, you required Upayananam, right? And it requires certain qualification to read the Vedas. So you were actually, you were initiated into the studying of scriptures. And so that is Vedic Diksha, right? And whenever you worship the deities, that is technically called as Diksha. So Diksha is only connected with bestowal of Diksha mantras. And that's how it is called as initiation. Now, why this first initiation concept of first initiation is brought in ISKCON is because, as Prabhupada also states in this letter, that because in Kali Yuga, we are not on the level of Brahmanas and we are impure. So in order to come to a certain level of purity, we require to purify ourselves. That purification can come by chanting Harinam. Okay. And so in order to give that potency to our Harinam, we also have a system of first initiation, where the Guru is actually empowering us with the holy name. So the holy name we are already chanting, we have received already. But the Guru, when he is giving first initiation, formally is accepting us as a disciple. Okay. And by that means he is also empowering our Harinam. So the first initiation is a process by which the Guru is empowering our Harinam. And once we are sufficiently purified and we come to the Brahmanical platform, when we are ready for worshipping the deities, that time he will bestow Diksha mantras to us. So this was introduced by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And before that, there was only one initiation. Okay. There was only the Diksha, only the one initiation, which was the bestowal of Diksha mantras. So then Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur divided into two parts, so that in Kali Yuga he realized that no one is actually qualified to be a Brahmana. So he divided into two, and then finally we get the Diksha mantras in the second initiation. Now see, why first initiation is more important than the second one? This is also explained. Prabhupada says first is more important because the spirit is more important. the spirit of connecting with the Guru is most important thing. So, which means that the following of instructions of the spiritual master is the primary. It's a most important principle in our advancement. So, on that basis, first initiation is more important, because first initiation is connected with Harinam and it is connected with Siksha. So, if you follow the Siksha of the spiritual master, then you will make tremendous advancement. You don't even require to worship the deities, because second initiation is only meant for those who are worshipping deities. That's why Prabhupada also says here that you can go without second initiation if the first initiation is executed very thoroughly. That is sufficient. So, as I shared earlier, that Harinam and Siksha, these two things are sufficient for us to go back to Godhead. Another important thing is that Diksha mantras, they can give you liberation, but only Nama gives you Prema. It can actually give us entry into the Golok Vrindavan. Okay, so this is another difference between Nam and the Diksha mantras, right? So that's why first initiation serves as most important than the second initiation. But real initiation is the second initiation. That also we need to understand. Okay, now another letter. Okay, so here it is stated that in 1972, when Prabhupada gave a series of lectures on nectar of devotion, for 1 month in Vrindavan, a thought was pleasing me. When I first joined, I would be taught that the parampara system is like a chain, and if you are not initiated, you are not linked up to the chain, then you can't go back to Godhead. So I thought, we are distributing so many books, but if the people who read them are not initiated, then they can't go back to Godhead. So one day I followed Prabhupada from Rupa Goswami Samadhi, where he lectured, and just before Prabhupada stepped onto his courtyard, I said, so this is Vaikuntanath, disciple of Prabhupada, and this is given in the Prabhupada memories, remembrances by Siddhanta Prabhu. So I said, we are distributing so many books, but if people aren't initiated, then they can't go back to Godhead. So Prabhupada turned, looked at me right in the eyes and said, just by reading my books, they are initiated. I thought that is an incredible example of compassion. So here you can get a very broad understanding of first initiation. So first initiation, as Prabhupada is actually defining, that just by reading my books means that they are accepting Srila Prabhupada as their guru or as a devotee who is guiding them. And by reading the books, they are attaining knowledge. By that knowledge itself and by chanting Harinam, they are kind of initiated. So the spirit of, so initiation technically means the most important principle of initiation is to follow the instructions of Guru, and the Guru provides knowledge, right? So if this is achieved, then you are initiated. So at least in spirit you are initiated. Now technically we have to formalize it also. Like for example, you love someone, and like girlfriend and boyfriend, they love each other, right? But unless and until you do not formalize that relationship, there will be some doubt whether tomorrow the person will cheat me and go away, right? So similarly, a guru and disciple, you have inclination for the guru, you have liking for the guru, you establish connection with the guru, but then later on, if you are not willing to take formal diksha, then there will be a doubt and there will be a question why the devotee is not willing to take formal diksha if he's having so much attachment to the guru, right? So it has to be formalized. That formalization is basically diksha. Okay, so this formalization is basically, you can say it is initiation. Where you formally take some vows in front of the deity, in front of the Vaishnavas, and then you may also have a 5 yajna ceremony, right? So this is important so that it can formalize the relationship. So the guru will also take a vow to take the responsibility so that you can go back to Godhead, provided you follow his instructions that way. Okay, so letter to Jadurani. This is New Vrindavan, 4th of September, 1972. You are all able to see the screen, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, okay. Letter to Jadurani, 4th September 1972, New Vrindavan. My dear Jadurani, please accept my blessings. I beg to acknowledge receipt of your dated letter, 31st August 1972, and I have noted the contents. I am especially glad to hear that you have distributed 32 Bhagavad Gita as it is in one day in New York. Now go on this way and distribute all of our books profusely, as many as possible, to all classes of men. Regarding your question, second initiation is real initiation. First initiation is a preliminary, just to make him prepared. Just like primary and secondary education, first initiation gives him chance to become purified. And when he's actually purified, then he's recognized as Brahmana. And that means real initiation. The eternal bond between the disciple and spiritual master begins from the first day he hears. Just like my spiritual master. In 1922, he said in our meeting, "You are educated boys. Why don't you preach this cult?" That was the beginning. Now it is coming to fact. Therefore, the relationship began from that day. So see, again, the principle Prabhupada stating is that the hearing is most important. Hearing from the Guru. Now, what is the basis of choosing a Guru? The basis of choosing a Guru is through their teachings, through their Vani, what they are teaching, what they are emphasizing. And through that, the disciple is convinced in his heart and mind that, yeah, this is my Guru. Now, how to know, how to understand whether someone is my Guru or not? So I think it will take some time to realize that. And it's a matter of patience also. Because we can wait for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and then suddenly we may feel that, well, I'm not able to connect with my Guru so much. So let me go ahead and take initiation of someone else, just because he's not giving me personal time and physical guidance. So you may wonder like that, but actually the connection with the Guru is established through his Vani, and that Vani is eternal. So whether you are able to get formally connected to the Guru or not, that's a different thing. But you will have that conviction that he is eternally my Guru, and that is mainly because of your Vani. So you will get the feeling that if I don't hear from this person, I'm missing something in my life. I'm just missing something in my spiritual life. So you will always tend to hear the lectures of that particular devotee. Okay, that means maybe he's your eternal Guru. He's like really truly your Guru. So you have to have patience. See, the connection with the Guru is based on faith, and it is based on your loyalty to the Guru also. Just because he's not able to give time, it does not mean that you break that link and connection and go to someone else later on. If you have the patience, he will actually ask you to wait for a longer period of time, but he will give you initiation. Ultimately, at some point of time, seeing your sincerity, he will definitely give. Maybe it is a way of testing the disciple, whether he really considers me as a Guru. So like, for example, in Radhanath Maharaj's Journey Home book, you'll see that how Radhanath Maharaj, although he was given the opportunity to be initiated by Prabhupada, but he did not accept that initially. He only accepted when he felt that my heart and my mind both should be convinced. My soul and my mind both should be convinced. Then only I will be accepting initiation of Prabhupada. So he did not accept for a longer period of time. And finally, I think maybe after 10 or 12 years, he finally accepted Diksha from Prabhupada. And similarly, Prabhupada also, with his relation with his Guru, also the same thing. He also got Diksha after, I think, 11 or 12 years. But Prabhupada is very clear in his explanation of Guru, that he says that the connection with the Guru is basically hearing from him. That's the initial point. Once you hear from a Guru, once you are inspired the most from a particular devotee, that means he can be your Guru. We should take Diksha from that particular devotee, because you will always feel lacking something in your life. And it also matters, obviously, that there is a question of loyalty also. So one may also think that, well, in ISKCON, everyone is presenting Prabhupada. So even if I'm waiting for someone and later on I switch to someone else, what is the harm? Because anyways, I can continue Shiksha from that Guru. But see, this is not the right way. This is not the right approach. This is not the right etiquette also. Because it is not a cheap process. We cannot take Guru cheaply. So if you are, first we have to find out if you are taking initiation prematurely or quickly, that means you have not understood the science. Later on, what will happen? You may even start hearing from other gurus and may not even hear from your own Diksha Guru. So whoever is inspiring the most in your Krishna consciousness, from that devotee one should ideally take Diksha. Because and the factor how we decide that is purely based on Vani, the Guru's teachings, the way what the Guru is emphasizing. So these are some of the important factors. Okay, any questions about this? Any questions or comments?
Thank you for getting these references, Prabhuji. So nice to hear about Srila Prabhupada, with his devotees, dear devotees, American devotees. And thank you so much for sharing.
Okay, so I would like to share some more. Okay, yeah. So, so Prabhupada states this many times in his letters, in his purports, in his teachings, that the secret of success in the matter of Krishna consciousness is devotion to the Lord and the spiritual master. In the Vedas, the secret of success is described as follows: Yasadeve para bhakti yatha deve tatha guru tasyate kathiti artha prakashante mahatmana. Anyone who has developed unflinching faith in the Lord and the spiritual master can understand the real scripture unfold before him. So continue your present aptitude, and you will be successful in your spiritual progress. I'm sure that even if I am not physically present before you, still you will be able to execute all spiritual duties in the matter of Krishna consciousness if you follow the above principles. I thank you once more for your service. Letter to Subal. Then Krishna is always with you, provided you are sincere in his service and faithful to your spiritual master. That is the secret success. It is plain and simple. Please try to be faithful and sincere. You are very intelligent and devotee of the Lord. Letter to Krishna Devi, Delhi, 29 September 1967. As I have repeatedly said, Krishna consciousness is developed by following two parallel lines. Means service of Krishna and service of the spiritual master. This is the secret of success. The spiritual master must be bona fide. He must come down from bona fide spiritual master and must act according to the directions of the spiritual master. And by doing so, he gives proper directions about Krishna, and the devotees serve Krishna under direction of such spiritual master, and Krishna accepts service. And in this way, the whole thing becomes beautiful and successful. Yeah, so Prabhupada repeats this. Yeah, so we have to also understand that these are two parallel tracks. We cannot make any advancement if we do not satisfy Guru, and we think that we are trying to approach Krishna directly, because Krishna is not attained directly. Krishna very clearly says in the Adi Puran to Arjuna that you cannot think that you are a devotee, you are my devotee, unless you think yourself as a devotee of my devotee. Okay, so in order to establish this, we have to take shelter of Guru, and that's how we get connected to the Lord and we receive his mercy. So it's a parallel track. If someone thinks that I am attached to Guru, but I don't have any attachment towards Krishna, that is also lacking. That is also something is missing in that. Because Guru's job is to make you attached towards Krishna. It's like 50-50. If you are attached and attracted towards Guru, you have to be attached to Krishna and Krishna also simultaneously. And if you are attached to Krishna and you have you have liking towards Krishna, it means that you should also have liking and attachment towards your Guru. Both are, then the entire process is complete. Otherwise, there is something which is lacking. And if you only worship Guru because your Guru is favoring you, he's giving you personal time, he's giving you a lot of mercy, external mercy and all that. That means, and you don't advance in bhakti, that means you get attracted to the external feature of the Guru. Right? So then what will happen? You'll consider your Guru as an idol. And you'll forget that what is the main objective and role of a Guru, which is basically to increase our attachment towards Krishna. And if you consider that you have only attachment towards Krishna, not to the Guru, then also you will think that there is no need of worshipping devotees, there is no need of worshipping Guru. So that will be incomplete again. So both should go simultaneously. This is what Prabhupada is saying. And he says that this is actually the secret formula for success in spiritual advancement. There is no other formula. This is the only formula. So yeah, a very important principle. Then Srila Prabhupada talks about the Brajvasis stature. I just wanted to give the reference of that. So Loknath Maharaj, he is asking Prabhupada, so Srila Prabhupada, what is the position of the Brajvasis? Those who are living in Vrindavan now, what happens to them in the next life? Prabhupada, yes, simply by living, if they do not commit any sinful activities, they will go back to home. Simply by living without committing any sinful activity. Always remember Krishna, this is Krishna's land. Man mana bhav mat bhakto. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me. That will deliver them. So Madhudvis, they don't need a spiritual master. So yes, spiritual master is always needed. Chadiya Vaishnava Seva Nistara Asyache Keba, Prema Bhakti Chandrika, Narottam Das Thakur's Prema Bhakti Chandrika. Without abiding by orders of spiritual master and serving him, nobody can be. Otherwise, rascal. He has accepted one rascal spiritual master and he cannot understand what is God. 9 years because he did not accept spiritual master. Hari sorry, Prabhu. So all these local Brajvasis, they all accept. They have family guru or Prabhupada. No, Brajvasis they are. Generally, naturally, they are Krishna conscious. Otherwise, why is this illiterate farmer? He is offering. That is natural, offering obeisances to Prabhupada. Panch Dravida, but he has no spiritual master. Prabhupada, Panch Dravida, he has a spiritual master. Prabhupada, no. He has a spiritual master. Yes. And even without spiritual master, they have already elevated to Krishna consciousness. Panch Dravida. So they will go back home. Prabhupada, oh yes, because spiritual master is within. Chaitya Guru. Loknath Maharaj, you said one time Krishna is a spiritual master. Prabhupada, Krishna Guru Kripa. So this is the end of the morning walk conversation between Loknath Maharaj, other disciples of and Prabhupada. Right? So one thing what we understand from this is Brajvasis, they are very exalted Vaishnavas and they get direction from within, or Krishna will probably personally guide them also. But Prabhupada, as he stated, that Guru is always needed. So the Guru may be external form of Guru, or it may be the Paramatma within, or it may be Krishna directly. But Guru is required because they guide the devotees. And so connecting, so why we have discussed about the Brajvasis and this principle is because I wanted to emphasize that ultimately it's the Tattva. Okay, so let me share another. Yeah. Okay, this is a very, very important letter. Okay, and what Prabhupada says in this letter, he says, in the absolute world, there is no distinction as me or he and I. Krishna and his representative is the same. Just like Krishna can be present simultaneously in millions of places. Similarly, the spiritual master can also be present wherever the disciple wants. A spiritual master is a principle, not the body. Just like a television can be seen in thousands of places by the principle of relay monitoring. So please understand, dear devotees, that this is a tattva. Prabhupada said spiritual master can be present wherever the disciple wants them to be present. So where is the question of having physical association with the spiritual master? Right? So please understand that when a devotee is sincere, when a devotee is very sincere, when the devotee is following the instructions of spiritual master, Prabhupada in his 4th canto, 28 chapter 52 that we read, the verse that we read, the purport that we read, in that purport also Prabhupada says the same thing, that when a sincere disciple starts following the instructions of spiritual master, then he also starts getting instructions from within. The Paramatma starts guiding the devotee from within. Now, the devotee may not be qualified to directly access the Paramatma, but because he is sincerely trying to follow the instructions of spiritual master, the spiritual master is, by his mercy, he will connect the devotee to the Paramatma. And why this connection with the Paramatma is so important? It is very important because devotees, they are living in different places, in different states, in different countries. And the spiritual master is also in different places. So there is no physical connection. But because the Vani is the foremost principle of Guru Tattva, so a disciple can always connect with the spiritual master and he can always bring the spiritual master wherever he wants. Now, what is the meaning of that? It does not mean physically you will bring your spiritual master. You will bring your spiritual master whenever there is a need, whenever there is a requirement, urgency, and you know you don't have your spiritual master around. That time, Krishna, Balram, in the form of the Guru, will appear in the form of a devotee, in the form of your dreams. the Guru may come in the dream and he will instruct you something. That way, so through the deities, through the devotees, through non-devotees, through various means, the Lord will send you help, and he will also instruct you from within, as in the form of Paramatma. Like for example, when His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, he was about to start his journey to India, so he heard a voice from within. So that time he was not even someone who was at the stage of bhava. He didn't even knew who was Krishna, but he heard a strong voice from within that go to India, right? And his friend, he heard a voice, Gary, he heard a voice that go to Iraq or somewhere else. I don't remember that. But he heard a voice which directed him to a different place, and Radhanath Maharaj went to a different place. He came to India. So that voice is heard from within when we sincerely attempt. So now one thing we know, Maharaj was very determined and very sincere he wanted to somehow realize the absolute truth, and he was willing to do anything for that. So he was extremely determined and very sincere. That's why the Paramatma guided him from within. So similarly, the role of any guru, whether it is Diksha Guru or Siksha Guru, when the guru is not available for guidance, pray to the Super Soul, pray to your guru also, pray to your Gurujan. See, when you are offering worship to the deities in the altar, you also have your guru. You are praying to the guru. When you are offering bhoga to the Lord, you pray to the guru first, so that the guru actually will offer it to the Lord, because we are not qualified. So the guru through the parampara will offer bhoga to the Lord. Now, when you are offering and when you are praying, who is hearing your prayers? It is not that the physical form of the spiritual master will come to know, okay, so Rupini Padma Mataji is praying in this particular place and I have to reciprocate with her desire. Then Guru will become God. So that is not possible. So we have to understand that it is the Lord, the Super Soul, who is hearing your prayer. And because you are humbly praying to your spiritual master, so the Super Soul will accept your prayer. The Guru Tattva will accept your prayer. The principal accepts your prayer, and he will make arrangements so that whenever you require help or whatever prayers you are offering to the Lord, that will be fulfilled. So the Guru might not even know what you're praying. When maybe you can try this. Sometimes the Guru may know, and sometimes you may not know also. And another misconception devotees have is that they think that the Guru knows everything. This is simply fallacious. Please don't assume things like that. The Guru does not know things unless and until the Super Soul reveals to them. So Balram also was confused. If you see the Brahma Vihon Leela, Lord Balram also was bewildered by Krishna's Yogmaya potency. And Balram is the original Adi Guru. All the Gurus are representative of Balram. So when he himself is bewildered, how do you expect that the Guru, who is a Jeev Tattva? Now another principle is also we have to understand the Guru is actually a Jeev Tattva generally. In our parampara, the acharyas, they are generally jivas, whereas Balram is Vishnu Tattva. So Vishnu knows everything. He is omnipotent. He is all-knowing. But you cannot assume that the jiva also knows everything. You cannot make the jiva God, right? But yeah, it is possible. Whenever the Paramatma wants to reveal certain things to the Guru, he will reveal it. So it's a mystery. It's a mystical thing. But that is also possible. But you cannot claim that the Guru is all-knowing. He does not know unless and until you share things with him. Okay, he must also understand the situation in spite of the level of advancement. In spite of being a Bhava Bhakta or a Prem Bhakta, it is not necessary a Guru will know everything. So please don't be under this misconception. And that's why please understand that it's a network. It's a network. The electricity that is coming to your house, it is you plug into the cable in your house, but ultimately the supplier is coming from the power source. So similarly, although we think that the Guru is localized, but is also universally present. As Prabhupada is saying here, that Guru is the principle, not the body. So when you talk about physical appearance, it is localized. Yeah, it is localized. We have, whenever the Guru is there, Vapu is also important. We have to serve the Guru. And then we also, if there is a confusion, because many times now we will also try to discuss about how do we take guidance from Paramatma, from within, and how do we understand whether it is the Paramatma or whether it is our own mind who is actually dictating and guiding us. So that also will discuss later in the second part. But the principle we have to understand is that it's a network of gurus. So Diksha Guru, Siksha Guru, Vartama Pradaksha Guru, or any, a guru can come in, appear in any form. And that entire network is connected to the powerhouse, which is Supreme Lord. So because the Supreme Lord is the Paramatma, he knows the desire and the intention, the motive of each and every devotee. That's why he will make all the arrangements. So what he will do is, he will make your guru appear in your dreams. He will make, like he will basically help you in whichever possible way, through whichever means available. He will help you in that form. So it is not necessary that the guru has to be physically present, but the idea is that we have to be so sincere that we can make the guru available anywhere and everywhere through the principle. Okay. So this is what I wanted to share in this class. Yeah. All right. Any questions or comments? I will also be discussing whether a guru has to be Nitya Siddha or a guru can never fall down. So I will also be discussing that in the second part of the class. But let me know if there are any questions or comments. Yeah, so I'm a bit surprised that there are very few questions, because
Prabhuji, one question I have. Actually, I don't have a question. This is not my own question, but
okay.
somebody asked me, like, we have a parampara system with the gurus coming. But the point is that after Srila Prabhupada, who is going to be there?
Yeah, so
like, I mean, because each guru has already, like, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he already met Srila Prabhupada and told him to preach in the West, right? But Prabhupada did not meet anyone to continue this because it's a parampara system. So they were asking me, so I didn't have an answer for this. And I thought the answer is like Prabhupada's books are there, or?
No. So see, now we cannot say that after Prabhupada there is no succession. Then it becomes a Ritvik system. So generally they give more emphasis on Siksha, right? And they say that it's not necessary that Prabhupada has to be physically present. But in the scriptures, it is very clearly stated that you have to take Diksha, and they have to take Diksha from a living guru. Okay, because the living guru is going to chant the mantras in your ear. So you have to hear from the living guru. So that is the evidence from scriptures which states that we have to take Diksha from a living guru. Now, why the parampara is only showing one particular devotee or one particular acharya? That we have to understand first. Because it is not that Prabhupada is the only acharya during his time, or it is not that Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur is the only acharya during his time, or it is not that only Gaur Kishore Das Babaji or Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Let's take the example. See, we know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is there in the parampara, which is listed in the book, in the Bhagavad Gita. It is shown like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and then Rup Goswami, Sanatana Goswami. But they are not displaying the names of all the acharyas and Goswamis. I mean, we could also question that where is the name of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami? Where is the name of Narottam, Shamanand Prabhu? Where is the name of Srinivas Acharya? So where are these names? Why we have only selected Narottam Das Thakur, Baldev Vidya Bhushan, and there is, so apart from the 6 Goswamis, we have Loknath Goswami and Dugar Goswami. They are the foremost and the senior-most Vaishnavas. They were the first ones to actually visit Vrindavan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had sent them to Vrindavan. So where is their name? So one thing what we have to understand is that only the names of the prominent acharyas are given. Okay, because we are tracing our line through Srila Prabhupada, and through Prabhupada it is going to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Okay. And now obviously Gaur Kishore Das Babaji had only one disciple, that is Bhaktisiddhanta. That's why his name is only there. But then Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, so during the time of Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, there were also other great exalted Vaishnavas. but we don't hear their name because we are just connecting the channel which is linking to Srila Prabhupada. And the acharyas which are very prominent in our movement, who have contributed greatly in our movement in terms of spreading Krishna consciousness, in terms of spreading the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So only we are referring to those acharyas in the line, right? So this thing we have to understand. Now coming to the succession. So Srila Prabhupada stated that there won't be any particular successor in our sampradaya after my disappearance. So Prabhupada always wanted a GBC, that a group of devotees should come together and they should be the managers, they should be the ultimate managing authority of ISKCON. Prabhupada wanted that. And same thing Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur also had suggested, and he had instructed to his disciples. But unfortunately, it happened that everyone started thinking that I'm the own acharya of my mutt. So that's why what happened is, so circumstantially it happened that Srila Prabhupada emerged as the founder acharya of ISKCON. Although Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur also wanted that all the disciples come together and form a governing body. But Prabhupada knew this, and he was also insisting and emphasizing, he was also trying to convince his God brothers. But unfortunately, it did not happen. And then Prabhupada had to start his own ISKCON movement because of that. So then what happened is, Prabhupada was the only one who actually spread ISKCON to nook and corner of the world. And that's why we feel that there is only one Acharya in Gaudiya Sampradaya. But no, Prabhupada God brothers, they were also very exalted. They were also very advanced. But they are not in the list because ISKCON is the only founder Acharya of ISKCON is Srila Prabhupada. Now, if you remember, Prabhupada was asking his God brothers to join him and to help him in the mission. If that would have been the case, maybe along with Prabhupada, we could have seen other names also. But because no one helped Prabhupada, he was the only one who actually, was spreading Krishna consciousness through ISKCON. That's why only we hear about Srila Prabhupada. But now, because Prabhupada, he has already said that my successors will be my disciples and there'll be a governing body. So we can understand that all these disciples' names will be there in the list. So now obviously, see, Prabhupada has got thousands of disciples. You cannot mention each and every name of the disciple. So there is no question of mentioning any disciples as such in the parampara. That's why we don't. And no one, one thing also we do state that Prabhupada is a preeminent Siksha Guru and is a founder Acharya of ISKCON. No one can take the position of Srila Prabhupada. Now, in prior parampara links, what we see is that Prabhupada was the founder Acharya, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur is also an Acharya, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is an Acharya, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji also is an Acharya. But here, after Srila Prabhupada's departure, there is no Acharya as such. So we are all supposed to represent Prabhupada, we are all supposed to follow teachings of Prabhupada. Now, what does it mean that we have different Acharyas? It means they have different teachings. Now, why Prabhupada did not mix with Gaudiya Math also? Because the Gaudiya Math emphasized something else. Prabhupada wanted preaching to be the essence of ISKCON movement. So he did not ask his disciples to mix intimately with the Gaudiya Math devotees, because their emphasis was something different. They instructed their disciples in a different way. And this is also a topic of discussion for our next part, where we'll be discussing about Siksha outside ISKCON, whether we should take from outside ISKCON or not. And that particular topic will go through all these things. So this is how logically the successor of Srila Prabhupada, they are all the disciples of Prabhupada. I hope it makes sense.
Yes, Prabhuji. Actually, I had asked this question earlier also, and I was not able to get the right answer somehow from other speakers. But thank you so much. Yes, I like that line you said at the beginning, that they will become Ritviks. If we think that Prabhupada is only there, and that's why he did so much of initiation. It was like he knew what he's planning for the future.
Correct. And he himself instructed his disciples to initiate. There are so many references that we have where Prabhupada said that you all are going to become the gurus and you all will initiate. So we have references like that.
And also we
Shastrically also, see, even if Prabhupada does not mention, but Shastrically also this is not acceptable. Because see, when the concept of Ritvikism started, and when ISKCON devotees, senior devotees, they were going to visit Prabhupada God brothers, it was all a shocking news for them. They did not even about the concept of ritualism. It was heard for the first time itself, and they never heard it because there was never a system where a successor could not initiate it. They could not initiate a devotee. So it was a new concept altogether, right? And there was no historical reference for it about ritualism. So no one accepted that.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhuji. Nice nectar today morning. I would like to just add one thing which I know about the acharyas, that acharyas are not nominated basically. Those are, they emerge basically. That's what I heard. Like, disciples are nominated, like disciples get their diksha from the gurus, but acharya is such a personality which is never nominated by anyone, but it like it's a kind of appearing thing. So
yeah, you mean naturally?
Yeah, naturally. So it has to, even like as you said, it's nothing like that there would be no acharya. But right now it's a question mark. But maybe some or the other time going forward, ISKCON will get a direction by a acharya, but it will come. Yeah.
Okay,
That's
so
what
thanks for your comment. And they appear. So basically they are, Krishna will reveal, right? It is a natural process. Acharya never thinks that I am going to be the next acharya, or I am going to be the next successor, right? So it will be arranged by the Lord. But now see, there are some interesting things that we have to consider. First of all, Prabhupada said that my books will be law books for the next 10,000 years. So Prabhupada has already set the standard. Okay, I mean, indirectly probably saying that maybe there is no other acharya that is going to arrive. And we also know, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu predicted that this movement is going to spread for the next 10,000 years. So indirectly, Prabhupada is saying that I am going to be the acharya for the next 10,000 years. So it is a matter of, see, again, Prabhupada is also, saying that the important principle is everything is there in the books. I've given everything in the books, whatever I wanted to convey. You just have to follow that. What is the need of an acharya? So once we have an acharya and we are following that acharya, so unless and until there is a chaos, complete chaos, and we are deviating from the siddhant of the, or the principles laid down by the founder acharya, only then maybe some acharya will appear. But sincere, faithful followers of Prabhupada will always continue to exist. And indirectly, Prabhupada stated that my books will be law books for the next 10,000 years. So it seems doubtful. And but we cannot say anything about the future. It may be, anything can happen by the will of the Lord. But it seems doubtful. I don't think we need to have some acharya.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I like, we have to agree that finally cause of all causes is Krishna. So it will be revealed, as you said. Thank you, Prabhuji.
In fact, see, this universal principle of Guru Tattva helps a devotee to connect with the Lord in a longer run. Because even if tomorrow, if your Diksha Guru falls down or your Shiksha Guru will fall down, still, because you are understanding the principle that, okay, it's a Guru Tattva. And it's not that if you are not sincere, see, if you are not sincere, there is no question of advancement. Whether you get directly instruction from Prabhupada, you will not be able to make any advancement. You will still fall down. For example, we have seen in the past also, Prabhupada disciples, they got direct association with Prabhupada, intimate association. But most of the intimate disciples, later on, they gave up their practices. So does physical Vapu gives a guarantee that will not fall down? Absolutely not. In Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime also, we know Kal Krishna Das, who had got association of Mahaprabhu, personal association. But he also later on got attracted to the Bhattaris and he got deviated he gave up his practices, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu somehow forced him and he brought him into the association of devotees. So just by being the presence of a Mahabhagavat Prema Bhakta or someone from the spiritual world, there is no assurance, there is no guarantee it will not fall down. So the entire responsibility is upon us. We have to have the determination and free will to follow the instruction of the Guru, and then we will be able to advance in spiritual life. So there is also a question about, see, because Prabhupada says in Nectar of Introduction, he writes in one purport that unless and until a devotee takes guidance from Uttamadhikari, he will not be able to advance sufficiently under the guidance of other devotees who are less advanced, right? But then we have to also understand how this will happen. You cannot expect that you will get guidance directly from Uttamadhikari all the time, or you will be connected to Uttamadhikari so soon. See, unless if you are at the stage of Kanishta, you can't even follow a Madhyam Adhikari, then how will you follow the instruction of Uttam Adhikari? Right? You will, in fact, you will commit more offenses, because at the stage of Kanishta, we are not matured. We don't even know the science of Krishna consciousness. We don't even know how to deal with Vaishnavas. We don't even know how to discriminate between different category of devotees. How will you make advancement? You will commit more offenses being a Kanishta. So the idea is that go advance gradually. Better take guidance from Madhyamas and come to Madhyama, and then when you are ready, take the guidance of Uttama. In fact, Prabhupada is actually Uttamadhikari in our ISKCON. And Prabhupada, everyone is presenting Prabhupada. So we are presenting Uttama Adhikari guidance. Whatever Prabhupada has given in the books, it is all Uttama Adhikari guidance. It's only a matter of which devotee you are getting connected to, who can train you and guide you further in this. But interestingly, Prabhupada said that in ISKCON, you don't have to bother about it so much, because the process that Prabhupada says is that be sincere, chant 16 rounds attentively, follow the regulative principles very strictly, and give your life to Krishna. Means that you serve the Lord. So if you do this, Prabhupada said that the holy name is going to reveal you everything. I mean, there is no dependence on external factors. It's not that someone else from some other sampradayas, from some very Mahabhagavad Vaishnava will come and tell you, reveal your Swarup. Prabhupada made it very simple. It's a process of revelation in ISKCON. You chant holy name, you follow the process, holy name is automatically going to reveal you things at the right stages. So at different stages, like, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, you will get inclination about, like, first you'll know your rasa, then you will get some more details about the identity of your Swarup and all that. And simultaneously, so you can meditate your Swarup, at the same time you can also externally perform your activities, right? So these things will be gradually revealed to us with and we should have a lot of patience with, because one thing we should know that in spite of our efforts, endeavors, our enthusiasm, it's not necessary Krishna is going to give what we want at that particular time, because it is an exclusive right. We cannot purchase Krishna by our endeavors and all that. When the Lord wants, he will reveal it to us. He will bestow us mercy. And when he bestows the mercy, that is the best time actually. Because if you demand from the Lord, and even if the Lord gives to you, you will not be able to handle that. So when the Lord wants to give us at a particular time, that is the best time, we can attain that. So it's a process of revelation. So we have to understand that. Otherwise, yeah. So I just forgot what was the connection. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah. Okay. So what I was saying is, because we have strong connection with Prabhupada, one thing is that whether you're Diksha Guru or Siksha Guru, whether they fall down tomorrow, they deviate, or they start deviating from the message of Prabhupada, if we have good attachment to Prabhupada and we know that this is a Guru Tattva, we'll always continue our devotion. And entire process depends on our own free will. So the Damodar Leela is a perfect example of the system in Krishna consciousness. Free will means determination. Yashoda was extremely determined to catch Krishna. Seeing the effort, hard work and determination of Yashoda, Krishna finally agreed to be bounded up. Right? So then our determination and then Krishna's mercy, these two things should combine. If we don't have determination, if we don't follow the instructions, you don't expect the mercy of the Lord. Right? So no matter whichever whatever advancement your Guru is, whether it's Tamadhikari in the state of Bhava or Prema, unless until you are ready to accept the instructions, you will not be able to make advancement. This should be thoroughly understood.
Yes, Prabhuji. And also nowadays, a lot of Srila Prabhupada disciples are getting, age factor is coming. So people are worried that, some of them have even passed away, few of them.
Yeah.
So that is also was a concern among devotees.
Unfortunately, that is a reality of this material world. So in
Yes.
spite of having a lot of physical association with our Guru, please also know that there will be one day, one time when these great personalities will no longer be with us physically. So that time, what are you going to do? See, that's why the Guru will train us in such a way that even if he's not there, as Prabhupada also writes in this letter, that even if I'm not there, but still you continue your spiritual duties. So whatever instructions I gave you, you follow that, and still you will be able to make advancement. So this is a genuine, selfless, bona fide Guru. It's not that the Guru wants everything for himself, right? He will only think how the disciple can make advancement in Krishna consciousness. Yeah, so very, very important that we have to also start thinking. So basically, see, the point is the Guru will make us independent, but independence does not mean that we stop following the instructions of Guru. We are so, we think that we are so advanced that we don't require Guru or we don't require guidance. No, the guidance, as Prabhupada said, even for Vrajvasis, the guidance, the Guru is still there. So even though the Diksha Guru is not there, Shiksha Guru is not there, but still you be connected to devotees, still you connected to the parampara, still you are connected to the process, and you'll keep receiving guidance and help from different things the Lord will arrange for you. So this is the principle. And it also emphasizes the importance of taking shelter of Vaishnavas, taking shelter of Shiksha Gurus, because you'll realize that tomorrow your spiritual master, your Diksha Guru won't be there. So then who is the shelter? The shelter is the senior Vaishnavas, the Shiksha Gurus. So that's why it is very important not to minimize the role of Shiksha Gurus also.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you so much. And I don't know, I've, recently there are some devotees who are in Indian body, like there is, I've heard Prana Govind Prabhu, and then there are others also who might become Diksha Guru.
Okay.
I heard like Gaurang Prabhu and many others. Is that true?
I have not heard anything about that, whether they will
Okay.
become Gurus, but yeah, maybe they can take up the role of Gurus. So
They can become like Diksha Guru?
Oh, yeah. Once again. Yeah, it is possible. I mean, if they if the Guru is asking them to become Diksha Guru and take the service of being a Diksha Guru, then it is possible, because and ISKCON as a system, they will scrutinize everything. They see the history of the last 10 years of the devotee's spiritual life, whether he had any problems or any devotees, they had any complaints about the devotee. So they'll scrutinize all the factors. And if they think they are qualified, then they will, like for example, Eklavya Prabhu, who is now Krishna Chaitanya Swami. So he took sannyas and he became a guru. Sorry, he took sannyas. He has not become a guru yet, because Loknath Maharaj is still present. So they may not become guru in the presence of their guru, but later on it is possible. Like Bhakti Samrit Maharaj is also there. So maybe after Radhanath Maharaj, Bhakti Samrit Maharaj may start giving Diksha. Like that, we have many devotees in our movement. In fact, what to speak of brahmacharis, even grihasthas can go ahead and start giving Diksha if they have a good history. So generally the qualification is that a devotee has to be steady in their bhakti, and they should have recommendations from senior Vaishnavas, and the dealings of the devotee should be proper. So there should be no any bad history or something like that. So if that is not there, then any grihastha can also become a Diksha Guru. So it is all a matter of bestowing knowledge. I mean, why one will become a Guru? Because they have the capacity to bestow knowledge, because they have the capacity to guide disciples, to train them, right? So knowledge is the foundation, irrespective of any kind of stature of advancement. But of course, when we talk about Diksha Guru, then there has to be a minimum qualification, which is basically the devotees should, at least they should follow the regular principles and they should be steady in their sadhana and bhakti.
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you so much for the class discussions. There's always so much to learn, and some things we learned, but we relearned. And, so really fortunate to have your association, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you all the devotees for joining and giving me the opportunity to serve. And so if you think that these topics are important, then we'll continue these topics. Otherwise, we can just continue with the Bhagavatam verses. Anything is okay with me. I was feeling that, yeah, maybe these things should be discussed in detail because we don't get chance in the Bhagavatam class because the topic is different, and we don't get chance in the Bhagavatam class to clarify all these concepts. So I felt that to clear the concept is very important for all the devotees. So I just thought we should have some topics like this.
Yes, Prabhuji, you were looking into discussing this on Saturday, but somehow it was not working. And I only come to know like a day before from one of the senior Prabhuji's, Adiguru Prabhuji, and he's the one who gives class every Saturday. So that's good that maybe next month or whenever you can take a date and take the topic. And anyway, it's connected to Bhagavatam. So, Srimad Bhagavatam, like Bhagavatam, we're doing the Bhagavad Gita Seva every day. So at least 5 days a week we are going ahead and doing, and other books also there. So yeah, Prabhuji, that you can take up the part 2 next time. No problem.
Sure. Yeah. So part 2 will be covering a lot of other things about, especially parallel lines of authority in ISKCON. How do you follow the Guru structure, and how do you select a Guru? Narari Sarkar also explains in Krishna Bharnamrit the etiquettes of dealing with the Guru and when to reject a Guru, right? And can a Guru fall down? So these are the most crucial, essential topics that we'll cover in the next part of this class. Okay, all right. So thank you so much, all the devotees. My Dhanva Pranam to all of you. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this nectarian class and so much in details. You explained very nicely. Prabhuji, you covered last. Which verse you covered last, Prabhuji?
No, today I covered 428, which is out of your normal.
Okay, only that one, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I need.
Yeah, Mataji,
class,
it is Canto 4. Mataji, I shared on the link, so that will go with the recording. And I think today we will share the recording of Prabhuji, right? We don't need to share the other one.
Yes, Prabhuji, you will share it.
Yeah, Prabhuji is out. That's why I added Prabhuji in the Everyday Chant. He'll share there. And then one of us can share to the other groups.
Yeah, okay. All right. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Dhanva Pranam.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare.
Nice.